So I encourage you to try that out with 2 people, one after another, and see how that feels. If you would, please. If you're too shy, that's okay, but go ahead and be brave. This is unity.
I survived.
You did.
Feel free to come back to your seat when you're ready. Anyone like to comment on how that's a little bit different from our standard American hello?
I find just aware of, the hand on the back of the neck. A lot of times people say this is where we hold fears or primal impulses. So this is our real hot spot, I think. And, it's interesting to cradle each other there. It's nice.
Did you notice once we let go of the ego, fear, this is awkward, that it actually was really soothing? I think that's what you're saying. I almost felt like I could fall asleep. Did you notice that your breathing started to change and you could feel the other person's breathing? So can you imagine how soothing that is as a way of greeting each other? There are so many. In India, I was adopted by a wonderful family, a middle-class family. And what they did every day, that various generations in the household would wake up and meditate. And the husbands would meditate with their wives, the different generations, and they meditated in a very special, sweet way. If you're at the back, feel free to stand up so you can see, because we're going to get down on the floor. And I do recommend that you try this at home. So they face each other, and then they get down knee to knee. Feel free to stand up if you can't see us. And it's wonderful. Let's say you're having a confrontation with someone, to meditate with that person, to get down, right? But what's even more humbling is to do this. Cheek to cheek, hand on each other's cheek with your head on the ground, and you're in the child pose, humble on the ground. So we're bringing together, and then you can share some words or pray, but what happens is if you're in, let's say, a relationship that has some rough spots, to do this with your beloved, if you can convince him or her to get down with you, or your neighbor, or your whoever it is so healing. We have another modified, thank you, Johnny, and we like to do that as often as possible because it's so deeply precious. It is really about bringing the preciousness, the exuberance, the deeper joy. So I'd like to share one more introduction with you. Feel free to stand up, or if there's someone near you, to try this with 2 people. It's for about, let's say 20 seconds with each person, which is an awfully long time, to gaze into someone's eyes and to reach out and to try this with someone, which I'll do a demonstration right here, if you would please. And so we take our hand from the side and we touch each other, so right on the cheek there, Johnny, right there. And just hold each other's cheek. It's a way to silently commune and then just let go. The way that we do this overseas, thank you, Johnny, is in many countries in Asia where I lived, instead of, if, let's say Johnny was a little boy, right, since he has that name, if he were to fall down and he was 4 years old and hurt himself, in America, a good mother would say, "Oh, Johnny," and would go over to a little boy and he scraped his knee, and then Johnny would look up at Mom and scream, right? Mom! Well, in India, I thought they were so cruel, and Burma, and Bangladesh, and Nepal, and Malaysia, they don't do that. Instead, the mother, it seems brutal, she will laugh at the son. Little Krishna, or whoever little Johnny is over there, little Mohammed, will just go, ha 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 ha. Now, a light laughter, and then kind of laughing with him, and then he turns around, looks at his mom, and he starts laughing. Amazing. So what they also do, instead of, because it's so culturally odd for us, but it does work, if you reach out with your hand to that little boy or girl, Or we all have the little boy or girl within us for the rest of our lives. We think we don't. Have you noticed that? You're like, I'm so mature. And then there it comes again, and you feel like a little girl, a little boy. You know, that's just the way it is. So I like to do that whenever, again, there might be a little friction, or you think, have I made friction? You can reach out to a friend, probably a closer friend, and put your hand on their cheek. So she might try to do that right now. So if you would like to try that with a neighbor on each side, so that would be for about 20 seconds each neighbor, just see how that feels and how connected that is. It allows more tenderness back into our communication, because we really are tender beneath it all. Anyone like to express anything about that exercise? We have a lot of options. You're at the bank. I have the bankers doing yoga behind the camp, and they say, oh, here comes Happy. What asana should we do today? And they love it. In the bank, sometimes I'll see friends, and we're kind of moving quickly, so I might just do that and say, it's so good to see you.